Whenever there is an authority, there is an inclination towards disobedience. Can see that. So if we are simply going to put the rules on the people, or rules on students, or rules on the government officials or the working persons, what we are going to get back is the disobedience from them. We can't see that, but we can see the results. The actions can speak that they are very disobedient than what we expected from them. In 1960, psychologist named Stanley Milgram conducted an experiment on how we humans respond to authoritative figures. So, the experimental setup of Stanley Milgram is he just gave an ad of conducting a teacher-learner experiment in his LA University, where he chose 40 participants from the ad agency, and all those 40 participants were said that they will be given $4.5 for their participation. And the first question the psychologist asked them is who are going to volunteer as a teacher? And very, very few people from all those 40 people raised their hands. And for their shocking twist, when the psychologist accepted them as a teacher, say only 10 to 12% volunteered themselves as a teacher. He said that the teachers can ask any questions, the teacher will not be given shock treatments, but the learners who were very hesitant in choosing the volunteering teacher role will be asked questions from the teachers, and the learner who is going to say the incorrect answers, they will be given shocks for every incorrect answers. Okay, so this is what the experimental setup, and each and every teacher learner, the couple of 40 people couple were separated into all those individual rooms, and the teacher were asked to start the questions, asking the questions for all the learners, and the teacher asked the questions where the learners said initially the answers were very easy, but when the questions get tough, the answer was very incorrect from all the learners. And from beginning, it was said that you can increase the volts from 15 volts up to 450 volts, where they say that it is 15, it's just a minimal shock, and up to 450, it is very dangerous, severe shock. It is written as that, and it is pressure from the experimenter to the teacher, that the experimenter pressure, I mean the psychologist pressured the teacher that you should not worry or should not be hesitant in pressing the shock level. If the answer is very incorrect, you should even press the 450-volt shock. Okay, the initially the teacher accepted all those instruction, and when the questions were very, very tough, he was pressing all those 15 volts, to 10 volts, even 300, even 400 volts. But once he pressed the 200 volts, he saw that all those learners were they were in very much pain. They can't even stand there and all. So the teacher was very, the teacher got very worried that what if they might get any sort of health issues and all. So he asked the experimenter, can we just stop this experiment because they are just indulging in great amount of pain, that is not good. But the experimenter said to that teacher that should continue, should not stop, even though the pain is more for their learners. But here's the twist: the teacher doesn't know that the learners were actually not in pain, but they were pretending that they were in pain. The teacher didn't know this, and the teacher was very, very hesitant in doing all those shocking things and all. So this is the basic experimental setup for how we are going to react to the authoritative figures. The steady results. So, to your surprise, 65% of the teachers who indulge in this activity, they didn't even ask a question, they didn't even rebel against the authoritative figure, that is the experimenter, the psychologist here. They just simply followed whatever instructions that were given from the experimenter. So, here they weren't even hesitant. Some teachers, okay, most of the some were hesitant in pressing the 450 volts as they saw some sort of painful behavior from the learners. But even though they are a little bit hesitant in pressing the 450 volt, as the shock might even kill them, but they accepted the authoritative decision and they pressed the 450 volt. That is 65% of the teachers pressed the 450 volts. So to our surprise, why the teachers followed this, as some human health condition is under risk, how they followed the authoritative decision without even rebelling. Here is the greatest question, right? So the psychologist Stanley, he just found that out. If there is a physical presence of an administrative or authoritative figure to the doer will simply do whatever the administrative figure is asking him or her to do. So the physical presence of the authoritative figure just pressurizes the doer to do the task without asking any question, just to follow it blindly. And the second one is that the teacher here, the doer can do all those things simply because it was happening in ALA University. So ALA University was a very very prestigious university, and here we can state that what the teacher considers as we are in the greatest university, famous prestigious university, even though if I am going to press the 450-volt shock, and even though the learner is going to get the health issues, or it is very dangerous to his health, if even if I do that, the administrative figure is behind me, and the whole prestigious university, I am standing in the prestigious university, so they are also responsible for this, right? How can I alone be responsible for this? This is one of the greatest findings from this study, stating that the study states that how we as a people, we can just implement it in our day-to-day life. If you are going to any college, and if your teacher is asking to do so, most of the people, if you have saw, most of the people will do blindly without asking the teacher or professor, why are you asking me to do this? This is not my job. They don't even rebel all those things simply because they are a teacher or a professor and they are having the internal marks with them. Many people, I have saw many people, they haven't raised any question against the professor in college, university. This is one of the greatest a real life example that we can correlate with this, example of psychological experiment. So that is how people, we as a people, most of the people just follow the herd mentality. We follow all those authoritative decisions, and simply follow it blindly without even rebelling. And this is one of the criticism that we can just put on this particular psychological test, where whether we need to follow all those authoritative decisions without even questioning them. Do we not have any of our own thoughts, and our own thoughts are not going to shape our future society? It is not even important. We should rebel. So that is one of the greatest important lesson that I needed to say to you. So if someone is putting any sort of pressure over you, you should follow this, you should not ask me a question. No, it should not be like that. There is a freedom of speech, freedom of rights for every one of us. So you should take your decision from your own mind, not from follow it blindly. Whenever there is an authority, there is an inclination towards disobedience. You can see that. So if we are simply going to put the rules on the people, or rules on students, or rules on the government officials or the working persons, what we are going to get back is the disobedience from them. We can't see that, but we can see the results. The actions can speak that they are very disobedient than what we expected from them. So yes, the story here states that, for example, you can see that there is one college, same, yeah, there is one college, and the principal stated that the girls and boys should not talk to each other, as they are entering into the high school. They are going to have, they are going to have exams and all, which is very crucial for their upcoming semesters. So they should cut contact from the boys, because of the school. I mean, that school just followed all those. Okay, it's school. So that school followed all those sort of co-curricular activities up to up to the high school activity. But once they reach that exam preparations and all, they are putting these restrictions. And many of the students, when the principal puts these restrictions at that time of examination, they will not think about examination, but what they will think about is, why is he telling this right now? We are doing this all way round till now, and we are just having 10-day examinations for the upcoming month. And this 1 month, we should not talk. We should only think about the examination. Most of the people will have this thought in their mind, which means that your decision of controlling their behavior for 1 month will backfire on you, and they will say that we are just having last a few days catch up with them, and why should we deny that? Why should we I mean, exams are important, but most of the students will not think that way. It is just a few example. You can implement it in the workplace area of the workers should stay for more than 9 hours in an office. If you say that, most of the people who stayed for 9 hours at that time will not even stay when you state this particular principle. So that is how this experiment, when you apply in this today's world, in current world, it is not applicable. It just face criticism also, as how um, the learner's shock was not previously informed to teachers and all, and the results might have different and all. So this is the takeaway from this exam, psychological test of hologram. So you should be very very, you should not follow blindly. You should not give your obedience blindly. Even only if it is fair and it is discussed with you, after that you can decide, okay, they discussed that with me, and I just feel the rule is good and we can follow that. But if there is not 100 percentage acceptance from everyone, what is the thing in following that rule, right? So this is a takeaway from this video, and see you in next video with another psychological concept. Until then, take care. Have a good day. Bye.